Hi, sorry.
Yeah, let's check this shit out. Check it out. All right, we're gonna start this Carter's Connor video.
Sorry, guys. Okay, ghosts. Yep, it's that time of year again. Halloween. Funny enough, that's also what I say every time I go pee.
Pretty good.
Halloween. Halloween is the one day a year where it's socially acceptable to just knock on a stranger's door and demand that they give you a little kiss. Aww. On the lips. And I imagine that trick-or-treating is going to be weird, you know, because of like COVID and stuff. So this year, I'm doing something different to avoid strangers ringing my doorbell, making me sick, or vice versa.
Look at that Digimon game on the fucking
single lollipop on my porch. It's going to be propped up in a nice stand, and all the neighborhood kids can come by, take a single.
Is that a game or is that a soundtrack?
Unfortunately, I'm too old to go trick-or-treating now. So the way that I like to celebrate Halloween is with a horror movie. I love horror movies. They're so much fun. Midsummer is one of my favorite movies of the last 10 years. I really loved watching Goosebumps.
Didn't like Midsummer that much.
In the Dark growing up. And even though watching 13 Ghosts with my
favorites.
sisters when
13
I was
Ghosts
7
is
years
fucking
old,
incredible too.
For like 4 years. I still love horror movies to this day. There's just something so fun about like watching something that you know is gonna ruin the next little bit of your life. I'm sure that's why you watch my videos. So to celebrate Halloween and the beauty of horror movies, I figured we should watch one. And the horror movie that we are watching today is called Dear Evan Hansen.
You need to leave.
I don't get that joke.
Joking.
What the fuck is Evan Hansen?
Movie. I'm sure it's fine. The actual movie that we're going to be watching today is called Goblin. And I never even heard of this movie until I tweeted asking you guys to send me some bad/weird scary movies.
I should check that tweet.
So shout out.
There's probably some other great shit on it.
Sending this movie to me because I watched the entire thing.
Yeah, Midsummer just wasn't my thing. I liked parts of it.
It's definitely a movie. And dude, the ending of this movie is, no exaggeration, one of the craziest things I've ever seen.
People thought it was bad.
It's like up there with the goat story ending. I know, bold claim, but trust me, okay? You're gonna want to stick around for that. So Goblin
13 Ghosts
came out in 2020.
bad but fun.
It didn't come out in theaters, but it came out. It came out somewhere. I don't know where, but it came out. And here's the synopsis. A young woman fights to protect her son from her abusive new husband and a ferocious creature lurking in the shadows. Jeez, I wonder if the ferocious creature is a goblin. That would be pretty funny if the movie was called Goblin, but like the ferocious creature in
Goblin these
was
nuts.
like a great white shark. Okay, enough of me talking. I'm going to be talking throughout the whole video, but let's watch the movie. So the movie starts off with a neighborhood couple walking their dog Schnoopsy around the block. And right off the bat, we already get some god-awful audio.
I'm not going to hit some of my Weight Watchers with me. Yes, you are. You need to lose some weight.
Huh? The fuck did you just say? Is Josh Richards holding the boom mic for this movie? And then we hear the dog scream and growl off camera. And then it disappears into a bush somewhere. So yeah, something kind of weird's going on. And this next scene is where we meet the main characters of this movie. We've got Sarah. She's the mom, and her son, Sam, and their dog, Pistol. So Sarah's ex-husband, Sam's real dad, was in the military, and he died. Now they're moving into a new house with Sarah's new husband, Danny, and Danny's son.
I did not get that detail that he wasn't the real dad.
Jr. And let me tell you, Danny Jr. is a piece of shit.
I missed that
Danny Jr.
detail.
Is basically what every boomer thinks of when they think of like a typical teenage boy. He's always listening.
That's
to
why I
heavy
think they're
metal,
like kind of like
he's
estranged.
Rude, and he wears shorts with black socks. He's a nightmare. One might even call him a little fucking brat.
Little fucking brat.
See what I mean? So
this guy is a bastard.
Chinese food, but they forgot Danny Jr.'s Beijing beef.
Where the hell's my Beijing beef?
Even though those are all closed containers with no labels or writing on any of them, so there's no real way to know if your Beijing beef is there or not. But still.
What the fuck?
And I know what you're thinking, okay? I know. But I'm not about to make fun of a child's acting, okay? I'm better than that. Like, I know this kid is a kid and all, but wow, he cannot act. Even if it is some of the worst line delivery I've ever seen in any movie ever.
We've got to go.
What?
Are you coming or not?
I've got to eat.
Like, you want to kill that kid by the end of the movie.
Like a 9th grader in drama class who's only in drama class because the woodworking class was full. I'm better than that. And I'm better than him, okay? I am. Imagine that's why I'm making this video. I like auditioned to be Danny Jr. and I didn't get the part. But this is payback. This is why I started my YouTube channel, to get back at the director.
What the fuck?
But anyways, the doorbell rings and it's their neighbor across the street.
This guy.
His name is Elias.
Welcome.
Whose accent
He's a sweet
escapes
old man and he's
everyone.
actually going to be very important later in the movie.
It's on Amazon Prime, yep.
Okay? Even though it's hard to forget him because there's literally like 5 characters in this whole movie, so I think you're good. If at any point you're like, wait, who is that? I don't know.
Danny Jr.
Yeah, I want to take like a little break from talking about the plot thus far, and I want to talk about other things in the movie that really pissed me off. You know how movies have like music, you know, they play music to go along with the feel.
This
the
movie had like
that
no
they're
music
in a particular scene. You know what I mean? You know, basic shit. They play this same song through the entire movie.
It's just like ambience.
I'm not exaggerating. You know, the shitty thing is, I don't even think it's a song, really. It's just a collection of weird sounds. And it happens over and over again throughout the entire movie, and I'm not fucking joking. It's just this the whole time. No matter what scene is happening, no matter what's going on, there's those noises. Obviously, they're trying to do what, like, successful horror movie makers do. Well, they'll use sound to like make the audience feel a little uncomfortable and scared and like, you know, a little bit worried about what's gonna happen. But like, hey man, you can use more than one track. You know, you're not a train, you're a movie. I mean, like, I'd like to think whoever edited this like had a good reason, like why they did what they did. All right, now we just need to add music and this movie will be all done.
Goblin.
Maybe I will meet that midnight deadline after all. Dude, huge party at Daryl's tonight. You in? And you know I'd love to, but I have a deadline, and I just don't think I can make it tonight, man. Dude, you're always working. Live a little. I can't. If I go to the party, the movie won't get done, and it'll be released in an unfinished state, and some super chill YouTuber will make fun of it. Okay, whatever. You know what? Just remember, while you're scrubbing through that
Is that what that
timeline
instrument
of
is that
yours,
makes that sound?
the real timeline,
The water fountain?
life, it's passing you by. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'll be at Daryl's, getting my chodes soaked. Jesus. Fuck it. Hey, wait up. I'm coming to Daryl's after all. Back to the movie. So later that night, Sarah can't sleep, so she goes downstairs
probably not
to
that
make
far
some
off.
tea when she hears a scary noise. And folks, this is our first sighting of the goblin.
Oh God!
That sound she makes.
No!
That
Oh God!
literally sounded like it was in response to how bad the CGI is in this movie. Sure, that would be scary, obviously, if that happened. But like, what was the goblin trying to do here? You know? I'm asking
Oh,
a real question
God.
on this channel. What was the goblin trying to do? Like, it wasn't trying to get into the house or anything, right? You know what I mean? Like, he's just placing his hand on the window for no reason. Maybe goblins like windows. Ever think of that? And I think that's true, okay? You ever met a PC gamer? They love windows. And they're fucking goblins. They're straight up goblins. Makes sense. Hope you guys are doing okay after that really scary scene, but we're gonna
Fucking
keep
got
going.
'em.
So after this goblin sighting, Sarah's pretty shook up for good reason.
Oh God!
But Danny comes to the rescue and just gaslights her to make her feel better. And it works like a charm.
We're in a new place. Strange noises you're not used to.
No!
And charms don't work, so it doesn't work.
Whatever.
And then the next morning, there's some like animal control officers just absolutely raw dogging some evidence. And they're there because there's some reports of some wild animal who's going around eating the neighborhood dogs. We all know what it is.
Oh God!
Goblin. I know you are.
It did look like a sawed-up hot dog.
Goblin.
While all this is going on, Sarah tells Elias what she saw last night.
Something was definitely here last night.
She said 5 minutes.
I can't talk to anyone right now. These kids are late for school.
Yeah,
Man, this editing is making me sick. That's coming from me. But anyways, before Sarah takes the kids to school, Sam says something to Elias, and that really scares him.
Did you see something too, young man?
Yeah, a green man.
A green man.
What were you talking to that nice man about?
Just a green man.
Shrek. That would be pretty crazy. The whole movie went by and you didn't see the green man. At the very end of the movie, it just turns out to be Shrek the whole time. They just they just steal the IP from DreamWorks.
Onions have layers. Onions have layers. You get it. We both have layers.
Oh, God.
Unfortunately, it's not Shrek. Sorry. It's the Hulk. So Sarah drops Sam off at school, and the door is open in this shot, and the door is closed in the next shot. Nice. Okay, and now we cut back to Sarah talking to Danny back at their house. And the first time I watched this scene, it made me laugh so fucking hard, so I really want to share it with you guys.
Slept right through my alarm.
Normally, we don't see large predators wander this far into town. And just remember, keep your pets and small children inside until this all blows over.
Hey, man. Who you talking to? Sarah and Danny are having a conversation. They're already talking. And then this police officer just starts talking to just the entire neighborhood, I guess. At a pretty tame volume, too. Like, they turn around. They're like, oh, it's a guy's fucking talking. Okay. Like, it is so funny to think about a cop trying to quietly explain something to an entire neighborhood and no one can even hear him. And she stepped on the ball. Dude, that's so funny. I know, it's so funny, man. Hey, is that cop talking to us? Yeah, I'm not sure. He's barely even talking. He's looking at us, but I can't hear him. I wonder what he's saying. Okay, let's just ignore him. Dude, look out! Hey, I tried to warn them. It's funny because cops are usually the loudest fucking people in the world.
Mind your goddamn business!
So the animal control police officer, I don't really know what they are. They tell everybody that there's a wild.
Yeah, it's not even a
cougar
cop.
on the
It's like an
loose
animal
causing trouble.
I
control.
think we might have a cougar on our
They're
hands.
only like
Really
people
hot older woman.
in authority at all are the
Eating
animal
dogs.
control
You know how they
officers the
do.
entire
So,
movie.
When Danny finds out about this, he for some reason is like hellbent on killing this cougar.
There's a wild beast roaming around here, and I'm gonna kill it.
I don't know why, but he goes and picks up Danny Jr. and Sam from school, but he doesn't tell Sarah. While they're gone, Sarah goes over to Elias's house to talk about the scary Shrek
Yeah, here's the
that
link
she
to it.
saw last night. And you know what? Elias has got a pretty crazy theory. He shows Sarah this old book, and it shows an old drawing of a goblin terrorizing like an old village. And like, this is a little unbelievable. I can believe a goblin, I can. But what are the odds that a goblin randomly shows up in some suburban neighborhood for no reason and just starts terrorizing a family, and there just so happens to be an old goblin expert literally right across the street? Yeah, okay. They're not that easy to find. Trust me. And maybe you're thinking like, oh, maybe he has something to do with the goblin because he knows so much about the goblin. Maybe that's a fun idea they could do something with later on in the movie. That's what I thought. Nope, just an old guy who knows shit about goblins. His character only exists in the movie to be like, it's a goblin.
Goblin.
So Sarah goes to pick Sam
Doesn't he
up
get
from
like
school.
fucking
She finds out that Danny
wrecked, like,
picked him
really
up from
easy to?
school, and she's pissed off.
Wait, who?
But fuck all that. There's a scene here that also made me laugh really hard, and I want to show it to you guys.
Good day.
Hey, you've reached Danny.
Hey.
Can't come to the phone right now. Leave a message.
Excuse me.
Yeah, you
Do
got
you
it.
have a minute?
You have a minute?
Yeah, I think she has a minute, dude.
They were just
talking.
talking.
Human to human.
That scene is really
interactions
weird.
in this movie are so
Where they like talk to each other and then
thanks
she
for
walks
talking to me.
away.
I gotta go.
It's so weird.
Bye. Yeah, thanks for talking. I'll be right here. And you got time to talk? So since Sarah had a minute, she goes into Sam's classroom to talk with the teacher because she thinks there's something wrong with like Sam's home life.
This is so dumb too.
Which I feel like is a pretty common trope in horror movies. Like kids,
yeah, it's like two NPCs
drawing shit, and it's like a main plot point for some reason. Like kids are weird, man. They draw fucked up shit sometimes.
This is such a dumb horror movie trope.
I mean, there's something wrong in this case because
the picture the kid drew.
Windows, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like, look at this drawing that the teacher is so worried about.
We don't like to pry, but
yeah, what the fuck? It's like Yoda. Like, what the fuck? I used to draw people getting like shot in the fucking head.
We'll see you tomorrow.
I would draw like battles and fucking awful shit.
Is there a scary
no one ever.
goblin trying to eat your
maybe
dog?
someone should have cared.
I know it's none of my business. Like, that's just like a regular thing a kid would draw. You know, I drew way more fucked up shit than that. Dude, wait until this teacher finds out about Hangman. Her fucking head's gonna explode. All right, so
that's literally all I drew though, was like people fighting with guns and stuff.
So Sam is in the backyard.
Pistol
smells something in the garden, and we keep cutting to this infrared view from the bushes. So something is clearly watching them. Let's see.
And I drew a lot of Star Wars like battles. Like I drew Star Destroyers all the time, like fighting each other.
He's doing the Debbie Ryan smile. No.
Sam? Oh God, Sam.
I don't know what the fuck's going on, man.
I want you to tell me about the Green Man.
Nobody likes him, but he's our friend.
This is another trope in horror movies that I've never understood. There'll be like some monster or a demon or a ghost, and the kid in the movie is always like, "It's my best friend. That's just my friend Samantha." Like, what the fuck? Are you kidding? That would never happen. I'll preface this by saying that when I was a kid, I was scared of literally everything. But if I was 8 years old and I saw a chubby goblin in my backyard, I'd go,
it looks like the clown from Spawn.
Nearest bridge and jump off of it. Because fuck that. That's so scary. So later that night, Danny and Danny Jr. come home with a cougar that they killed. But Sarah is not impressed.
A little gratitude?
So they leave the dead cougar hung up in the backyard overnight, and big surprise, the next morning, it's gone. Goblin ate the cougar. And that, for some reason, causes Danny to lose his mind, because now he thinks there's a bear on the loose, so he hatches a plan to go and kill the bear.
This bear is mine.
And I just have one question about that. Does anybody have a job in this movie? You guys just moved into a new house together? Get jobs. I don't mean to sound like a capitalist cuck in this horror review, but get a job. You can go out and make some money and also stay away from the goblin in your backyard. Two great things at once, you know? But instead of killing two birds with one stone, they kill one cougar with a gun.
A little gratitude?
I don't know. Guys, we're getting close to the end, so just bear with me here. Bear with me, because he thinks there's a bear. So, Danny Jr., he's chilling in his room when he hears a noise outside. So, let's see what happens.
I never saw the actual hand grab. That part is amazing, though.
Oh, there's 69 in it. Well, yep. Danny Jr.'s dead.
I've gotta eat.
Okay, I don't know how I didn't notice this when I was scripting, but Elias just witnessed a murder. So you'd think he'd go over to Sarah's and, like, tell her what he just saw, right? He doesn't do that.
You must leave now. It is here.
And also for the rest of the movie, Danny Jr. just isn't mentioned. Like, his dad doesn't mourn his death or anything.
Yeah, they don't even care.
Business as usual. I mean,
they
I
did
don't
it.
say things would have gone differently if I was cast in the role, but we'll never know. Back to the video. Then there's another really funny scene where the police officers stop by the house to tell Danny that they found Schnoopsy's dog tag in a big pile of shit, like, close to the neighborhood. So all we really know about this goblin.
Why would they just, like, show him
shits a
that
bunch.
randomly?
So cool. It's also weird that the officers are telling Danny. Shouldn't you tell the owners of the dog, right?
Yeah,
These
right.
guys are so bad at their job, dude. No gloves, quietly speaking to nobody and giving bad news to the wrong person? Or do you think they're going, like, door to door because they're, like, proud of the job that they did, right? Hey, your dog's dead. But look what we found. Why are you crying? This is good for me. All right, guys, it's time for the big finale. Are you ready? So Elias tries to burn the house down to cleanse it of the beast.
We must cleanse this place of the beast.
And Sarah hardly puts up a fight to that idea.
Elias, stop. My son is asleep in there.
I'm a slow, fragile, weak old man, and I'm gonna burn your house down. No, don't. My son's in there. I'm gonna do it. Here I go. I can't stop him. But don't worry, guys. He doesn't actually burn the house down because the goblin eats him. So it's all good. Then Sarah realizes she has to leave everything behind. She has to leave Danny. So she grabs Sam and Pistol and they go to escape. But as she tries to escape, Danny catches them. If only there was somebody who could save the day.
There it is.
Yay, it's the ugly little backyard shit goblin.
I've gotta eat.
So yeah, Goblin eats Danny. I also love that Danny's reaction to the Goblin is like the most believable thing in this entire movie. And one more thing, I'll have what he's having. You thought that was crazy? Gets crazier. So 9 months later, the music is still playing. Sarah and Sam get home, and Sarah fills up 2 big bowls of food. She gives one to Pistol, then she walks out into her backyard that's absolutely caked in goblin shit.
Yeah, there's just shit
like,
everywhere.
Damn, bitch, you live like this? Then she sets the food down for the backyard poop goblin. And I'm just gonna play the ending for you guys. Did she fuck the goblin? Is that what they're implying? I'm so confused. Like, I'm sure it could be Danny's kid, right? Like, that's not like a crazy twist that she's pregnant with her husband's kid, right? So it makes me think that it's the goblin's kid. I genuinely think that Sarah got knocked up by this chubby little goblin. I guess Sarah was gobbling those nuts, I guess, which is just typical, you know? You versus the goblin she told you not to worry about, you know? All right, well, that's Goblin. That is the movie Goblin. No post-credit scene, unfortunately, so we can only hope for a Goblin 2. Maybe that one could be like a romantic comedy type thing where it revolves around Sarah and the Goblin, you know, trying to raise their Goblin Jr. in a world that doesn't really like goblins that much, you know? That could be really funny, and Goblin Jr. could be voiced by Chris Pratt, and Goblin's gonna be voiced by Chris Pratt, and Sarah's gonna be voiced by Chris Pratt, and Sam's gonna be voiced by Chris Pratt. Man, the first time I watched Goblin, I watched it on my phone, on my couch, and I'm not gonna lie, when I was done watching it, I wanted to throw my phone against the wall. I didn't, obviously, but I know if I did, I'd be okay, because I got Rhino Shield on my side.
All right. Check out Curtis Connor. That was really good. I like that video. Also, that movie is amazing. Pretty fucking good. Let's watch something else. I don't really have anything picked out in particular. Also, Palanteri, you did the point redemption for a story. I've been thinking, I can't think of any good stories now. There will be a story. Oh, you know what we could do? I think there was a new BuzzFeed I haven't watched, right? Unsolved. What about no nuke. It's kind of like the same vein in some ways. In some ways. Got Gettysburg, the haunted halls of Morris Jumel Mansion, the horrors of the Villisca Axe murder house, demonic possession of the Conjuring house. This one sounds right.
Holy moly. This looks like the Haunted Mansion.
I've never heard of this before.
Wouldn't mind shacking up in here.
No, this is the nicest house I've ever seen.
That being said, it is horrifying. Should I knock?
Do three knocks. Mock the Holy Trinity.
Hello? This week on BuzzFeed Unsolved, we investigate the Morris Jamel Mansion as part of our ongoing investigation into the question, are ghosts real?
No.
Yeah, we did a watch party for that last night, but we're just watching that for the people who didn't see it. And everybody else to enjoy.
Washington to Alexander Hamilton.
So we all are in on the Goblin movie now.
Private residence of former Vice President and infamous dueler Aaron Burr, an occupant who some say may have never left.
Scary.
He's a ghost now.
Yes, we got that. It's nice to go to
Does Shane just wear a hat now?
Metropolitan location, rub elbows with them city folk.
We got some.
Shane just wears like an old guy hat now.
Like I said, George Washington, Alexander Hamilton, Aaron Burr.
Yeah.
Burr in particular. What would you say to that guy if given the chance, and you will have the chance?
I guess I'd be kind of curious to like know what they think of like the Beatles or something. Like, did you see Jurassic Park? Can you venture over to a movie theater?
Well, I think I'd probably.
I think Shane has said that he's into bluegrass before too.
He's the only person I've known who,
could see it now.
In winning, lost even more.
Bling ding 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 dong ding dong ding dong.
Let's get into it.
I could not listen to bluegrass for longer than like 10 minutes before I need to like
summer home for British Colonel
go to the
Roger
bathroom.
Morris and his family. Dubbed Mount Morris, the estate was situated on 135 acres of land, stretching between what is now the Harlem and Hudson rivers. The Morris family's time at the home would be cut short, however, as they were forced to vacate in 1776 upon the outbreak of the American Revolutionary War. And on September 14th, Mount Morris, a home named after a British colonel, became the headquarters for the Continental Army under the leadership of none other than General George Washington. Situated on one of the highest points in Manhattan, Mount Morris was perfect for strategizing, as it provided
It's weird to imagine
views
Manhattan
of Connecticut,
not being
New Jersey, and the
covered in
entirety of
buildings.
New York Harbor. I don't think I could handle being a general.
You're a coward.
Well, it's not that I'm a coward, it's just I'm very indecisive. Sometimes I'll go and order something on the menu and then I'll be like, oh, wait, can I change it?
You are like that.
And I can't do that in war. I can't be like, wait, come back, boys. I changed my, wait, no. Sorry, fuck. I'm bad at this job. Can we take a timeout? It was said that General Washington paced the floors of his office as he charted out movements for the troops under his command. In recent years, Carol Ward, the executive director of the museum now housed in Manhattan, was leading a tour through the home when they all heard heavy footsteps coming from upstairs, even though, quote, no one was on the second floor, end quote. So this is the Washington War Room, and as the name would suggest, this is
Washington,
where Georgie Boy
Washington.
his plan of attack.
The big man himself was in here.
George, are you in here? Mr. President, could you open one of these drawers or wiggle one of the handles, George? Show us you're here.
6'7", weighs a fucking ton.
This guy was moving already. George, they often say they hear footsteps in here. Can you walk into the room, please? This is what we call a spirit box.
Oh, yeah. You know what? This is the only time, George, I'm excited about the spirit box. Would love to introduce this little piece of shit to a president. No, he doesn't.
He said not now.
I fucking hate the spirit box.
Why not now? Who is this?
Vinny?
Who am I speaking to?
Spaghetti. Remember, what was it? Or spaghetti apple? What was it? Apple tater.
I think they're done with us.
Yeah, wait, I don't know that they started with us.
Well, they started with us.
Okay.
Go ahead and mark that one down as another point for the shady.
I thought we got some good responses there.
Oh, yeah, they're really good.
Unfortunately, by October 21st, General Washington was forced to retreat and Mount Morris fell back into British hands, and for the remainder of the war, became the headquarters for British and Hessian armies.
Yeah, all
However,
the Spirit Box does is
over the
scan
years,
radio
people
channels
that
that
one
it
such
can
soldier
pick up
might
nearby
have
the
left.
Spirit Box.
Eyewitness accounts claim that the ghost of a drunk Hessian
Spirit Box
soldier
is basically
sometimes be
scanning
found
radio
on the
channels
main
and giving you a
staircase in the
snippet
home. There are rumors, however,
of
that
each
said Hessian soldier actually
frequency it
died
drops
that
on for like a
staircase,
split
and that the
second.
Eyewitness accounts of his drunkenness are in fact more likely of a man struggling to descend a flight of stairs in the tragic final moments of his life.
The infamous
I don't like EVPs really either, though.
One of the museum attendants said that he actually fell into his bayonet. Hate when that happens. My name is Ryan.
My name is Shane.
What happened to you on this staircase? Can you tell us your name?
What did you say when you fell
Oh, wait a
down?
second. Stop moving.
Why?
Why?
Say that. Could you say that again? No need to be shy. We just want to set the record straight.
Washington, Washington.
What was that? Is there somebody here with us right now? Could you make your presence known? Can you move something? What's your name on this staircase? What? Oh. What's your name?
Taco Bell?
Get him, Taco Bell.
I'm gonna get you? What happened on this staircase?
Yeah, it's just a wacky radio. That's exactly what it is.
What happened on this
That's why
staircase?
I don't like it. It's annoying.
Were you drunk? Execute.
Execute.
Is there anybody even here with me right
I
now?
like it when it says bizarre things, though, and it's just like spaghetti, Pokemon. Like, it happens. It's funny. Not worth the wait, though.
That's a beautiful spider.
I certainly would like to know where that spider is at all times. Why would you want him to come up to you? Where's my little friend?
After General Washington led the Continental Army to victory over the British in the American Revolutionary War, the sprawling estate was sold in order to cover war debts.
I like Ryan's,
Then used as a
Ryan's
tavern that
narration
once
better now,
hosted
too.
a
It's not
dinner
like
by the now
telling to
President
talk like
George
this all the
Washington. While there's
time.
been no reported supernatural evidence originating from that fateful night, the dining room of the mansion has had its share of unexplained phenomena. When a local news crew from New York toured the dining room, paranormal investigator Vincent Carbone called out, "Is anyone in
Vincent
the home?"
Carbone.
A member of the mansion's
What happened to his
staff
face,
distinctly
though?
heard a disembodied female voice answer, "No, just next
Like
to
everyone in this fucking spirit box named Vincent.
I don't know, but he has a
Fuck is going on?
Vincent Carbone, paranormal investigator. Got any ghosts here? Not anymore, because Vincent Carbone's coming.
I paint houses with ghosts. Just screwing on a silencer.
I got an EMF meter and a 9mm. Anybody want to say something to me? Vinny Bones, if you're watching this, please tweet at me.
Vinny Bones.
Supernatural hitman.
That would be sick, dude. Now this is the dining room.
Vinny Bones.
Fair amount of activity in here.
The cleaner.
Eliza was also notoriously a flirt, and it said that this grandfather clock will wink at handsome men.
I was just
What?
before you said that, I was like, did that clock wink at me?
Yeah, I don't think it did.
Yeah, I gotta say, it's an attractive clock.
Oh, you trying to butter it up?
People were mad
No,
horny.
You know those people who like fall in love
People
with,
say
like,
that
Eiffel
like people
Tower
are
and stuff.
ruined now,
If I
but dude,
had to
people
fall
were
in
like
love
that
with
back
an
then
object,
too.
I think I'd kiss a
Thinking
clock.
clocks were winking at them and shit. Come on.
Do you want to bang this clock?
No, but I'm saying if I had to, I would. So this painted face
Is gonna wink. Yeah.
The paint on this surface will animate and it will wink. This is the weirdest.
Am I handsome? How about now?
Don't do that to the clock.
Why not?
Well, anyway, last chance. Give us a smooch.
Ryan, what the fuck is wrong with you?
heard footsteps.
Stop catcalling the clock, man.
Anybody here with us? Perhaps George Washington or some soldiers? If there's anybody here with us, can you make your presence known? Can you say our names back to us, Ryan or Shane? Can you move something? Give it up, man. It's not gonna wink at you.
Thought maybe.
After the tavern went out of business, the mansion was purchased by
Oh yeah, is that why the time is fucked up tonight? What time is it really right now?
Stefan was from the south of France and had emigrated to the US shortly before he met Eliza Bowen, who at the time was working as an extra at a New York theater. A classic rags to riches story with a bit of a twist. Eliza was born the illegitimate daughter of a sex worker and reportedly pretended to be terminally ill in order to convince Jamel to marry her, citing matrimony as her last dying wish.
You got to be kind of cracked if you're going to lie about being terminally ill. That's a mean thing to do.
Well, you wouldn't recommend that?
No.
Interesting.
You think she was like, oh my goodness, it's beautiful. Thank you. Well, I'm feeling better. Let's get to work.
Yeah, do you think was it a gradual thing? Was she like day by day just getting better? Like, oh, I'm feeling a little better today. Or was it actually just like she puts it on and it's like the last Infinity Stone for Thanos? After marrying in 1804, Stefan would purchase Mount Morris 6 years later in 1810. Eliza negotiated $2,000 off the asking price because rumors of the property being haunted were already rampant.
Even back then.
Reportedly, Eliza's own adopted daughter refused to stay in the house alone, and witness accounts confirm her greatest fears with compelling evidence of the supernatural coming from the one room that is situated below ground. Located in the basement lies what was once the Morris Jamel Mansion's kitchen. Visitors have reported witnessing swaying pots in a fireplace that's been sealed for years, hearing disembodied voices and unexplainable sounds as something or someone moves through the room unseen.
Washington.
It's a little dank down here.
Oh, that's dank, man.
It has tended to be active as of late. Is there anybody down here with us? I feel like we're not alone, so show yourself, please.
Bullet. We've got Ryan, we've got Shane, here one night only, ready to talk to you on this godforsaken contraption. Just speak into the microphone, holler, just do the best you can to form a single word.
What's the name of this place? This house?
I forget.
Who do you work for?
Who do you work for? Christoph?
What's your name?
What's your name?
Can you say my name back to me, Ryan?
Say Vinny again.
Jesus. You're in bad shape, buddy.
Every time you play it, I think it drains life out of my body.
As for who the ghosts are that reside within this haunted mansion, that is still up for debate. But the answer may lie in an event that took place almost 60 years ago in front of a group of school children. In 1964, a school teacher brought their students up to
They
Mount
all
Morris
died.
for a field trip. The mansion's curator was running late, so the school teacher let the children play on the front lawn until they arrived. As the children played, an old woman wearing a violet dress walked out onto the second-floor balcony, looked down at the children, and said, quote, "My husband is very ill. You have to keep quiet." End quote. The children obliged, and when the curator finally showed up, they told her what had happened, thinking the old woman in the violet dress was a reenactor from the time period and part of the tour. The schoolteacher, having seen the old woman as well, backed up the children's version of events. Confused, the curator told the group that the house was empty and padlocked, and that no such woman existed.
Who was
As
it?
the group climbed the large winding staircase just inside the mansion, they passed a large portrait hanging on the wall. Pointing to the woman in the painting, the children said, quote, "That's her, that's her." Stunned, the curator explained that that's impossible, as the woman in the painting
It's just the kids
was
fucking
Eliza
with them.
Jamel, and she had died over 100 years ago.
That's a ghost.
That's a pretty good tale right there.
The other thing would be cool is if we saw the painting and we were like, yo, that's that lady. And then I was like, well, what? Let's look around. So then we look back at the painting and she's gone.
Oh, like she hopped out of the frame?
The kids are just like, hey, let's pretend we saw a ghost.
Hey, boys. And we turn around and go, huh? And she's like, and then she flies away.
Audrey Braver, the Morris Jamel Home's museum director in the early 1980s, reported that it is unlikely such an event occurred, chalking it up to a planned hoax or performance at the time. However, she was unable to provide proof of such a hoax, and despite her ongoing denial of all things supernatural, Braver did admit that on occasion even she had odd interactions
Audrey
with
Braver.
young child visitors. In her own words, quote, "They'll refuse to walk down the hallway. They'll say, 'No, no, can't go down that hall. Bad things down there.'" End quote.
Eliza, I've very much been looking forward to meeting you. By all accounts, you're a hilarious lady. There's a lot said about you, and this is an
Don't dead.
opportunity for you to clear it up.
All open in here.
Like we looked at this long enough, we hear a little whisper behind us.
Yeah, like,
you boys like that picture of me? I never did.
Come on.
We know you like when there's parties around. You were a big socialite. We're party guys.
Yeah.
Last night we went out in New York City and we painted this town with our
We're
vomit.
party guys.
Didn't we? Were pretty responsible. You're 30 now.
I'm trying to set the mood.
Yeah. Oh, it was a scene, Eliza.
Eliza, I only have one question for you now.
Will you marry me?
That's his question. But mine is, do you like to party? My fair lady, I bid you adieu. I'll see you upstairs.
Aaron Burr.
Aaron Burr.
And go fuck yourself.
Go fuck yourself. All right.
In this room, our audio recorder picks up this male voice. Is this the voice of Vice President Aaron Burr? For Eliza Jamel, things would take a turn in 1832 when Stefan reportedly fell off a carriage and landed on a pitchfork. Miraculously, he survived the fall and was taken home, but tragically died later that night. Upon his death, rumors swirled that Eliza had removed his bandages and let him bleed out. But the gossip surrounding her involvement in Stefan's death was based more on her outcast status rather than actual facts. Some also believe the pitchfork story was hateful as well, and that Stefan likely just died from an illness such as pneumonia.
I mean, probably a good thing that pitchforks have largely gone out of fashion because people had to be using those things left and right.
Why is Link to the Past trending right now?
This guy got killed like he was one of the victims in a Halloween film. Like he got murdered by Michael Myers.
Well, you really gotta wind up on those things, huh? Because it's really like a.
Yeah, he's like a teen banging on a haystack.
He knocked my damn hat off. I was murdering so hard.
That's why Michael Myers doesn't wear a hat.
That's right. That's why Michael Myers doesn't wear one of these hats.
I bet you he was in the mirror when he was trying things on, like the mask, and he was like...
I mean, the mask is William Shatner.
And then he started doing his like, no, it gets in the way.
Oh, it's kind of a hat.
They could get the truth from the man himself. A psychic visited the home years later and claimed to have summoned the spirit of Stefan Jamel. They reported that Stefan told them he'd been murdered by his wife and buried alive. This claim was challenged in 1965 when world-famous ghost hunter Hans Holzer held his own seance at the mansion and said that when he made contact with Stefan, all the spirit did was complain about his wife. Wanting answers, the staff at the mansion decided to hold their own seance in Eliza Jamel's bedroom, and even allowed a local radio station to broadcast it. But, quote, they got such foul language that it had to be cut off the air, end quote.
What are we doing here? Is a seance? I'm staring at these
That's
olives.
fucking
Classic
hilarious.
seance here. We're gonna try and set the record straight, and let's just get into it. Right now,
I'm like, is someone just fucking with them?
Hey, by the way, I set up the flashlight for
Like
you.
Fanny, 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 Fanny.
I do like that. We're reaching out right now.
Oh, well, I'll
to
say.
Eliza Jamel. We're sitting in your
Eliza,
bedroom,
I got a big
and
fanny.
we'd like to communicate with you. That was Shane whispering.
I didn't whisper.
Yeah, you did. Come on.
Unbeknownst to us, our audio recorder did in fact pick up this chilling whisper moments before.
Eliza, we really just want to set the record straight here. There's a lot of misinformation out there. Some people think you murdered your husband.
If you murdered your husband, turn the light off.
And I'm gonna need to see some intelligent responses for me to think that's actually you communicating with us.
I like
Turn
that's
the
like a
light off
little
now
fake
if
candle.
You didn't murder your husband.
Well, which one?
What is it, Eliza? If you think Aaron Burr was just a real hot slice of meat,
Yeah, a tall glass of water.
why don't you turn off that flashlight? All right now.
Is there anybody in here with us right now?
Remember that Aaron Burr and Hamilton commercial? Where the guy, it was a commercial for milk. I'll show you after this.
Say my name, Ryan. Say it to me right now if you want to talk.
Yeah, it was a Got Milk commercial.
Going to club. Going to club? Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bear with you.
Very scary.
I think we've been bearing with you.
Start speaking clearer.
Was it the first though? That's funny. I didn't know
You're
that.
very frustrated right now.
I just really want to eat some olives.
Sadly, it was Eliza's choice in a second husband that would be the biggest threat to her future. That man.
She has a
was
bear
Aaron
with her.
Burr.
Yo,
On July 1st,
bear, burr.
1833,
The same
just
word.
Over a year after Stefan's death.
Aaron Burr
Eliza
looking like a
Jamel
fucking
married
frog.
Former Vice President
Aaron Burr does look like a frog.
Eliza was 58.
Now, here's a story for you. As you redeem the story for points. I have a memory of the first time I saw a $10 bill for some reason. I don't know why. I just remember getting a gift when I was like 5 or 6, and it was a $10 bill and a card. And it was Aaron Burr. And I thought he looked like a frog man. The story. Like, I just read a story about a frog man, and I thought he, like, Toad and Frog. Remember Toad and Frog or Frog and Toad? I thought he looked like one of them, kind of like, and it's the $10 bill is green, so, or a goblin man.
At the time of her
He
marriage
looked like Frog.
to a then 77-year-old Burr, and had her own vast fortune and extensive real estate holdings. So why marry again? Because Eliza's union with Burr would provide the one thing she'd fought for her entire life: acceptance.
I mean,
in
look at
high
the old
society.
$10 bill.
Despite his checkered past, Aaron Burr moved in the most elite circles of New York society, and by marrying him, she would finally be accepted and even began introducing herself as the, quote, Vice Queen of the United States.
Oh my God.
End quote.
That's cringy as hell.
Oh, me? I'm the Vice Queen of the United States now. She doesn't have the greatest moral compass here,
No.
but she is funny. I'll say that.
Honestly, she seems like a good pair for Burr.
That's true. Those two are kind of a match made in heaven.
Yeah, he's
or
like,
hell.
He's like, you know, a stone cold loser. She's a bit sketchy. Match made in heaven.
That's true. They could both be sketchy together.
Yeah.
And live their sketchy life out to the end.
Yeah, couple of skeeves.
It's destiny.
However, the marriage was a disaster, as Burr was a chronic debtor and spent Eliza's vast fortune faster than she could invest it. And after a year, she'd had enough and filed for divorce. But the only reason one could divorce in 1834 was by proving that your partner had been unfaithful.
Oh, he just died a lot.
She arranged for a servant to testify that they'd seen Burr, quote, disporting himself with a lover, end quote. Eliza also hired the one attorney who would be most effective against this particular opponent, none other than Alexander Hamilton Jr. Hey, remember that guy you shot unfairly and then it ruined your life? I'm gonna bring in his son, and he's gonna do the divorce.
Yeah, she's a twisted lady.
Very funny.
Yeah.
Very, very funny.
I do like that she married him to get ahead in life, and then he just spent all her money.
That is very funny.
I admire that.
Never one to step down from a duel, Burr fired back, saying that Eliza had been unfaithful to him with 8 men.
Damn!
Eliza's claims were more believable, and on September 14th, 1836, the divorce finally went through. The same day, Aaron Burr died.
Wow.
This guy,
rough Tuesday.
This guy just keeps getting wrecked over and over and over again. I've never seen a man lose so many battles in a row. It's kind of crazy. As he lay dying, a clergyman reportedly asked the former vice president about his thoughts on the afterlife. Forever the politician, Burr simply answered, quote, "On that subject, I am coy," end quote.
And died.
He is, as it's still unclear where exactly Aaron Burr is currently spending his afterlife. Paranormal investigator Vincent Carbone says there is plenty of supernatural activity in Burr's former bedroom at the Morris
Vinny
Jamel
Bones
mansion that could prove the former vice president is still very much in residence. Well, we've arrived at
Hey, my God is made of bones, huh?
America's notorious loser. By the way, this is one of the only known busts of Aaron Burr. Hello, sir. All right, Mr. Burr.
Drive a fucking
Mr. Vice
Flintstones car.
President, as you probably get a
Who's
stiffy
that?
when you hear that.
Look at this. Did you see this little?
I've seen these guys before.
It's a little beetle.
Yeah, what is that guy? I've seen him in old people's houses before.
Right now, we are reaching out to Aaron Burr. We've been doing this all night. I'd love to see you. I'd love to ask you what you were thinking when you shot Hamilton. At this moment, our producer hears whistling coming from somewhere in the house.
Your producer's a little
was
bitch.
it coming from? Really quick, let's do it.
Shag ass though. You know?
Where could that be coming from? Who's down here whistling? You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, I guess it's like a doorstep.
Anybody down here? This is the basement. Mother of pearl. That actually got you to jump
a little bit too.
Fuck me, that's
Oh, it's like a shoe thing.
After the investigation, we reviewed an audio recorder and camera left in the basement. What we found is perhaps one of the clearest pieces of evidence we've ever captured.
It's me, Alexander Hamilton.
Also found in our evidence review was more whistling coming from other parts of the house, specifically in the very room we returned to, Aaron Burr's bedroom.
The Burr room, as he liked to call it.
Is this the whistling of former Vice President Aaron Burr?
My thought is, I think it's a person whistling.
So
you think fucking headphones.
Into the house? No, I think someone may have been idly whistling and not paid attention to it. I know Lorne was down there doing DIT stuff. It's possible he could have whistled.
This is often the skeptic's argument when the evidence is too strong. They'll just say, well, obviously, it's made up or someone's lying.
I go to the most logical thing, which is I think someone was whistling. It's possible someone was whistling. I think we can chalk it up to human error and someone being like, I don't think I was whistling.
And
no,
then,
I wasn't whistling. Or it could have been someone outside.
It looks like
We had
2
cars
bars
going
of
by. I
soap.
heard the radio a few times from outside. This happens too.
On each ear, a bar of soap.
Is the thing.
This happened throughout the entire shoot. This is only 2 of the clips.
Maybe someone was going on a walk outside, past the block a couple
You're
times.
right, someone went on a 5-hour walk, did a circle around the Morris Jamel mansion.
I've whistled before without even thinking about it. So I'm going to assume someone whistled.
So, official explanation just so I can make that clear after all the bullshit.
Someone was whistling.
Someone whistled.
Oh, that's really what that is?
Is that you whistling? They said,
AirPod
no.
Max? I
Well,
didn't even know
if
that existed.
was by accident, please don't whistle anymore. And they went, got it.
It's possible.
What time is it? Oh, 11 p.m.? Let's keep going till 12 a.m. You know what? Why don't I keep whistling till 2 o'clock in the morning because I love whistling and claiming I'm not whistling.
Right.
Well, I think you've dug yourself enough of a hole there.
I don't think it's Ghost.
Aaron Burr, do you regret shooting Alexander Hamilton? If you need a refresher,
I don't think he does.
Probably not.
Did he regret it? I don't think he did.
That's him right there.
There he is, that frog-looking
His name is on our money
motherfucker.
because he's a very, very famous and successful and decorated man. Where's your dollar bill? They actually made a play about this man. It's called Hamilton. I don't want to spoil it for you, but you don't have the greatest part in this play. Do you think you have an unfair reputation?
Oh, wait. It's Hamilton, not
Mr.
Burr. I'm sorry.
Vice President Burr.
But my story doesn't make sense, though.
Can you say my name back to me? That's Ryan. To let me know you want to communicate.
Well, either way, they both look like frogs.
Are you happy with your life, Aaron?
No.
You're gonna have to. Virgin. You said it.
Incel fucking spirit
See
box.
that $10 bill. Is he like?
Funny. It's a funny bit.
Classic bit, but I'm also, it's not a bit. Okay, where are we headed?
An audio recorder left in Aaron Burr's
It just like
room
starts like
picked
saying
up
like,
these
why don't you like
voices.
nice guys? I'm a nice guy.
Is this the voice of former Vice President Aaron Burr? To find out, we'll investigate his room and the second floor individually.
Get up there and find some ghosts.
Okay, you just holler when it's time for me to come back down.
Looked like he just spanked him.
Okay, it's time for another solo investigation. This is
Room and the second
solo investigation. Okay, it's time.
Get up there and find some ghosts.
Okay, you just holler when it's
yeah, he
time for
did.
me to come back down. Okay, it's time for another solo investigation. This is when I, the person who doesn't believe in ghosts,
Shane
walk
has
around a bunch of
officially been
rooms and
spanked
I
by
say a bunch
Ryan.
of
I don't know how I
bullshit,
feel about that.
to fill the time. I just want to admire some of the finer pieces in here. Look at this. A little vanity.
It's the same story every time. We yuck it up in the house. I feel very safe. And then I'm left to my own devices and I lose my mind. It's honestly hilariously clockwork-like at this point. I might be the only ghost hunter who doesn't want to see a ghost.
Any ghosts around? Look at, holy shit. Look at this clock. Let's appreciate this. Is that a thing of beauty or what? I thought we'd already seen the two sexiest clocks in
small.
the house. But boy, was I wrong. God damn.
I'm sure the big guy's having a blast up there. Honestly, he's pretty tired right now. I bet you he's just laying down and sleeping.
Shane's just exploring himself.
You have fun up there?
Yeah, there's a lot to admire up there.
A lot of history?
Yeah, well, just some nice pieces.
Well, let's just get this over with.
I pass this to my brethren in ghoul hunting. All right, get on up there.
Well, you got to figure for some of these places,
Oh yeah.
especially if you have like a show that's like actually
Sure was, pal.
highly produced
Nightmares about it.
Yeah.
and has like a,
Oh, this is
you know,
awful.
like a
For
signal
you.
range, people will
Well,
probably
well,
let you
well.
go do stuff.
Look who it is.
Because it promotes the location. I didn't
Yeah,
even know this
boy.
place existed
This is
until
your
this
chance
video,
to
so
grab glory
I would assume. Maybe
and
not all of them.
murder the internet's favorite ghost hunter.
But I'd
in
assume
cold
like
blood.
some places are probably
Hope you
dying to
take
get
advantage of it.
But if
like
my
fucking
baseline is
Zach Bagan
not
to come there, you know what I mean?
These places, this was like 10 steps below.
It probably like makes
It's
them
just a really nice house.
a lot of
It
money.
was nice to walk around up there and look at nice things.
Like that clown
It's a nice
hotel.
change of pace from
You know about that
the
until
shitholes we usually go to.
Zach Bagan stuff.
My hair's standing up, but I think it's just because I'm fucking scared. Wow, this is rather horrifying. Mr. Burr, I was talking a lot of trash earlier, and this is the time to really
Mr.
stick it to me.
Anderson.
Show yourself. All right, folks. You leave me no choice. My name is Ryan. Can you say Ryan back to me to show me you want to talk? Eliza, are you in here?
I'm sure Ryan's being very thorough up there, asking the spirit box for
clarifying statements, which it never once has given him.
Stefan, did your wife murder you? Yes or no? No? Anybody with me down here?
No.
Boy,
Choose the correct color to continue.
Say my name, Ryan, if you
No.
want to communicate. No?
No.
How was it up there? Real scary?
I didn't enjoy it, but I never enjoy it, so.
No.
You know, when do I ever get what I want?
Did you hear anything?
Not really, to be honest.
Oh.
Let's walk on out of here. Let's get out of here.
Yeah.
I'd like to leave.
Adios, Georgie, all the other dudes, and the lady and her kids.
Au revoir, Stefan. Oh, wait. Apparently, if you don't say goodbye to Eliza, she will follow you home, so.
Oh.
Interesting.
Goodbye, Eliza. It's been nice. Thanks for having us over. Follow me on Instagram or something.
It's a gorgeous house.
Can't wait to see it never again.
The impressive history of the Morris Jamel mansion is undeniable, a living piece of American history that hosted a veritable who's who of our founding fathers.
Look at that horse.
As well as the extraordinary self-made woman.
Why'd that horse
who
have those
owned the
eyes?
sprawling estate. But whether Eliza and Aaron Burr still roam these hallowed halls will remain unsolved.
Unsolved. It's a cool video. Check it out. Yeah, what time is it really? 1:30 right now? Here it is. He's making, oh, it's a peanut butter and jelly. I thought it was grilled cheese.
And that was the Vienna Wood Dance in D, one of my all-time favorites. And now let's make that random call with today's $10,000 question. It's a tough one. Who shot Alexander Hamilton in that famous...
He's eating it sideways?
All right, let's go to the phones and see who's out there.
Hello?
Hello, for $10,000, who shot... Excuse me?
That's enough.
I'm afraid your time is almost up.
Well, he looks familiar. He's in a movie.
I'm sorry, maybe next time.
Got milk?
Kind of crazy. Can't believe milk is gone. I don't have any milk. The entire industry just fell out. Bottom fell out of it. Got milked.
The group of children on their bikes stare intently at the large, abandoned
Let's watch some Dr. Bob.
Rumors have been circulating all
Alright,
school year
later,
about a
Tachyon.
monster that lives inside. One child tells the others about the kid from a couple towns over who went inside and never came back out. And it's easy to believe that something evil could be lurking inside the rundown home with its peeling paint and many broken windows. The children begin teasing each other, daring one another to go in and see the monster for themselves. No one seems especially eager to volunteer, though, as they all egg each other on. As the group of children joke about who should be forced to go inside, another comes riding up behind them, struggling to catch his breath. "You left me behind again," he complains. Clearly, this is not the first time that this smallest child of the group has been made to try and keep up with his bigger and faster friends. The bigger kids all turn to look at him. They don't need to discuss it any further. The answer to who must go inside has already been decided. The smaller child tries to protest, but ultimately, what decision does he have but to go inside? He can't let everyone else think that he's a chicken. He's got to prove once and for all that he's just as tough as any of them. Without another word, he lets his bike fall into the dirt and makes his way towards the big, creepy house. The door pushes open without any resistance, and the boy looks into the dark house. The boy steps inside, and the floorboards creak loudly under his feet. The inside looks much like the outside, old, worn, and abandoned. But then, he hears something, a scratching noise coming from above him. He turns to leave, but he can see all of his friends through the doorway, and they motion for him to keep going. The boy steels his nerves and turns back. He's going to show them just how brave he is. The boy starts up the stairs, each one groaning as he steps onto it. He reaches the top of the stairs to find a landing with more rooms, each full of dirt and debris. There's spray paint on many of the walls and lots of trash. It looks like teens may use this as a place to hang out. But there at the other side of the landing is one more room, and the door is shut. From outside, the group of children can see through the upper windows as the boy makes his way through the house. They're not laughing and teasing any longer. In fact, they're impressed by how bravely he is exploring the old home. Though none of them would admit it out loud, he's earning their respect. The boy reaches the shut door at the end of the hall and presses his ear to it, but he doesn't hear anything inside. He places his hand on the doorknob and slowly opens it. The boy screams and falls backwards as the cat that was hiding inside panics and jumps through one of the open windows.
I'm back. Sorry about that.
The boy can't help but laugh. Of course, it was just a...
Is this Stranger
The boy
Things,
screams
kids?
again as the floor gives way beneath him, and he crashes down onto the first floor in a pile of debris. He's stunned by the fall before starting to scream again as that floor gives way too. His yelling is silenced by the air being knocked out of him as he hits the basement floor. He's covered in dust and pieces of 2 floors he fell through. He feels bruised and sore, but he can wiggle his fingers and toes. He's not paralyzed, and it doesn't even feel like he's broken a bone. Maybe he's okay. But no, he's definitely not okay. Because suddenly, there's something picking him up off the floor. As his eyes adjust to the dark basement, he sees what it is that's holding him. It's half man, half machine, a huge, disgusting mix of metal and flesh. The boy is too scared to scream anymore as the creature's unmoving, dead-looking eyes stare straight into his. Its face looks as though the skin has been stretched across a human metallic skull. The boy can only watch as the monster raises its sharp, metallic fingers and brushes the dirt out of the boy's hair. The boy starts to whimper, but whatever this thing is, it doesn't seem to want to hurt him.
What the fuck?
A tinny, robotic voice coming from a small device on the creature's face suddenly breaks the silence. Al anta ala mayuram. The boy doesn't understand, but the robotic man tilts his horrific head to the side and repeats the same thing. The boy is still confused, but he feels
definitely
like
gonna
the
eat
robot
him.
is trying to tell him something. He somehow gets the sense that it's not going to hurt him. Is this the monster that everyone has been afraid of? A misunderstood machine man living down here in the basement? The robot flinches as something is smashed on the back of his head. He tosses the boy to the side and turns to see the boy's friends, each of them armed with pieces of wood and other scraps as weapons. They've come here to save their friend from the monster that they dared him to find. Another runs up to strike the robot, but before he can reach him, he falls to his knees in pain, as do the rest of the children. The creature has begun emitting a high-frequency noise, and the children try to cover their ears. They all feel a searing pain that makes it feel as though their heads will explode. The piercing noise continues to ring out, but the monster looks like it has entered some kind of dormant state and is no longer moving. The small boy is able to slowly get back to his knees, hands still clasped to the side of his head, and stand up. He runs past the monster and his friends who are writhing on the floor in pain, up the stairs and out of the old house. A woman stands at a kitchen counter, chopping vegetables for their dinner that evening, and talking to her oldest daughter about her plans for that weekend, when the back door suddenly bursts open. Standing there is her son, the small boy. He's barely able to whisper the words, "Monster. There's a monster in the basement," before he collapses, blood pouring from his ears and nose, before he begins convulsing on the floor. At the local police station, an officer is speaking on the phone. "I see. Yes, that is quite strange. A metal man? You don't say. I'll send someone out there right away. Don't go anywhere." The police officer hangs up the phone and looks around, making sure no one is nearby or listening to him, and then takes out a cell phone. He dials a number from memory, and someone answers on the other end almost immediately. "Yes, this is Field Agent Patch," the police officer says. "You need to get a containment team out here right away, and a good one too. I don't know what it is, but it's dangerous." An SCP Foundation mobile task force that specializes in containing dangerous humanoid threats soon arrived at the house and took the anomaly into captivity. Misinformation teams concocted a cover story about a gas leak leading to the unfortunate deaths of several of the town's children and administering amnestics to any potential witnesses. Once the messy business of containment was over, though, it was time to figure out just what this strange creature was. SCP-203 appears to have at one time been a Caucasian human male, though its appearance now is far different than it once was. This bipedal humanoid creature stands 2.5 meters tall and weighs roughly 200 kilograms. Both its incredible height and weight are due to the fact that the man's original skeleton has been entirely removed, and replaced with a mechanical framework made of cast iron. The metal skeleton is much larger than the original bones, and in many places, SCP-203's skin has split from being stretched over it.
Did he just like Resident Evil Wolverine?
Other parts of the framework appear to have been intentionally made to protrude through the skin, though it is unclear for what purpose. In addition to this larger-than-normal mechanical skeleton, a number of other augmentations are present on SCP-203. Its fingers have been extended into sharpened, hook-like barbs that are approximately 1 meter long. Its lips have been removed entirely, making it clear that there is no movable jawbone, and that the skull is likely one large hollow piece of metal, and there are several more hook-like protrusions jutting out around the mouth area, smaller but similar in appearance to the fingers. SCP-203's legs have been modified as well, with 2 added joints that give them an appearance more akin to a dog's, and its toes have been removed and replaced with a solid piece of metal similar to those found in steel-toed boots. Its chest has no sternum or breastplate, which causes the skin stretched across to pull inward as its diaphragm contracts. Its ears have also been removed, though it still seems to possess hearing that is far beyond that of an average human. And while its eyes still remain,
its eyes remind me of the Snickers colors. I don't know why I keep saying it.
From the eye sockets. The irises also appear permanently dilated and do not react to light. In place of a mouth is a small speaker covered by a metal grate that is capable of producing basic vocalizations, though with a distinctly robotic sound to them. Tests have shown that SCP-203 has a basic understanding of English, but its own primary language seems to be a type of Arabic, though there are no records of the exact dialect. SCP-203 does not need to eat or drink, and without any visible mouth, it is likely incapable of either. Instead, it runs off of a power cell located within its body that will provide energy for up to 72 hours. After those 3 days, SCP-203 will shut down and enter a hibernation state for 3 to 4 hours, during which its power source will recharge, providing it with another 72 hours of energy. All attempts to examine SCP-203 by either X-ray, CT, ultrasound, and other forms of diagnostic imagery have failed, and attempts at exploratory surgery have triggered its defense mechanisms, which are both painful and deadly. When it perceives that it is being threatened in some way, SCP-203 is capable of emitting a high-frequency droning sound that has a profoundly damaging effect on the human nervous system. The effects of this defense mechanism were able to be observed directly when a D-Class personnel accidentally struck SCP-203 and its droning sound was activated. Immediately after being exposed to the sound, D-104 experienced a severe headache. After 15 minutes, the headache grew worse, and D-104 began to bleed from the ears. After a half hour, the D-Class, who had now gone to the infirmary,
Jesus
began
Christ,
to
fuck
experience
that.
seizures and was bleeding from all of his orifices. 10 minutes later, the D-Class was dead. Another test was performed, and the results were nearly identical, with symptoms progressing at roughly the same rate. However, this time, rather than move the D-Class to the infirmary, it was kept in the cell with SCP-203. After 40 minutes, the D-Class was dead, and a few minutes later, 203 finally ceased its droning sound. SCP-203 then approached the body of the deceased D-Class and began to use its own augmentations to start removing the skeleton of the D-Class.
So why was it being nice to the kid?
SCP-203 was stopped before it could complete its task. It now appears that the droning sound it produces is a defense mechanism, but may also be a part of the process by which it creates new instances of SCP-203. In interviews with SCP-203, it claims to have no memories of its life prior to its augmentation. It says that it now exists in a near constant state of pain and confusion, and that the times when its battery is expended and it enters a rest state are its only escape from the pain of its existence. It also claims that it has no memory of what happens once its defense mechanism is activated, nor does it remember what it did to the body of the D-Class that was left in its cell. However, it is unknown just how truthful SCP-203 is being. There has been no way to verify anything that SCP-203 tells researchers, and for the time being, its statements are to be regarded by Foundation staff as an attempt to elicit sympathy or otherwise manipulate them emotionally. It's made several requests for pain-killing medication and anesthetics, but so far, all of these requests have been denied. SCP-203 has been classified as Euclid, and it is kept in a specialized storage bunker at a research site. 2 D-Class personnel equipped with sound filtering equipment guard it at all times, and it is accompanied by an armed escort to any testing or research sessions. Is SCP-203 the ultimate victim? A normal human that was transformed against his will into a crude amalgamation of man and machine? Maybe there is something more to SCP-203, or rather, less. Is SCP-203 fooling all of us? Is this tortured iron soul nothing more than a metallic monster disguising itself with the skin of its last victim? Perhaps with more research, we will one day know the answer. Now go and watch another entry from the files of Dr. Bob. Like
Kind of a weird one.
SCP-783, there was a crooked man. For another anomaly,
there was a crooked man who lived in a crooked house. Watch something else. Here we go. This is gonna scare you. That's what it says.
Everyone. My name is Sir Spooks, and today we'll take a look at the top 5 scary videos
Very
that
scary.
will horrify you. Before we begin,
Very
I have great
scary.
news. I've just launched a new Patreon, and you don't want to miss these rewards. By supporting me and
Patreon?
allowing me to continue doing what I love, here's what
I got his Patreon.
This chilling video posted to TikTok by a user named Ethan Campbell will certainly leave you scratching your head searching
The
for
witch.
any sort of logical explanation. The video in question is very short and has unknown origins. It is not known where the video was filmed and what led up to it, but sometimes context is not necessary to get properly creeped out. Take a look.
Is that Jesus Christ? Please.
Yeah, that's Jesus.
Please. Mom, es un hombre. Es un hombre. Yes, Mom. But it went behind the...
Mom, get the camera.
it
It's
went behind
Jesus.
The tree, and I can't see it no more. Oh, no, it's right there. Hello? I'm gonna come home right now, babe. Vanessa, do you mind moving your car so I can go home? You don't think that's balloons?
In the footage, we can see what appears to be a mysterious figure seemingly levitating in the sky.
Who is
On
that?
the
Who can
videographer
fly?
can only stop and stare in complete shock.
How's
and
that
awe.
possible?
At the beginning of the clip, he even asks, "Is that Jesus Christ?" Which just goes to show how shocking this would be to see up close in person. Whether or not this is something paranormal, I think we can all agree that this would give us the creeps if we saw it up close as well. A Reddit user named Carmina Cat shared a video to the ghost subreddit that was filmed at a restaurant in Liberty Station, San Diego. The clip in
Real
question is a
ghosts.
piece of restaurant surveillance camera footage from a business located in former military barracks. The original uploader of this video has provided some context, stating, "I've had this clip on my phone for a while now, and yes, it's my video. I used to be a manager at this restaurant in San Diego. This was taken at 5 a.m. No one was at the store. So without further ado, let's take a look."
No one. No one.
Out of nowhere, a mysterious ghost-like figure appears in the middle of the restaurant and proceeds to walk off camera before the video abruptly ends. It's hard to tell if this is just some sort of camera glitch or if it's actually a ghost. The uploader has said that during his time there, he used to run out of the store every single night just because the place creeped him out so much. If this video is indeed 100% real, then it seems as though the uploader's fears were not unfounded. Imagine you're driving near a local forest, simply enjoying the drive and trying to get the most out of your day, when suddenly you get into a highly unnerving encounter with somebody incredibly strange. That is exactly what happened to the man in this YouTube video. In the clip, the videographer starts filming right when he pulls up right next to a strange man lurking in the woods. Although there's no context provided to let us know what led up to
Is it
this
really,
incident,
though?
It's still incredibly chilling and will leave you scratching your head.
Is it a real ghost?
How you doing?
What the fuck?
Just some cruisers, man.
What?
That's crazy shit. Guy's crawling at me like it's goddamn. What's up, dude?
Is this in Florida?
Amazingly,
the fuck?
the men in the vehicle sound quite relaxed and don't seem to be too freaked out by what they are watching, even though it is most certainly something you don't see every day. The man, who appeared to be normal at first, proceeds to crawl towards the vehicle almost like some sort of weird animal.
What the
with the way his body
fuck?
contorts, looking like something straight
Why
out
is
of
he
a creature
doing that?
feature. After he starts to crawl toward the video abruptly ends, so it's not known what happened immediately afterward. So let's just hope that the man in the vehicle was smart enough to drive away, just to be on the safe side. After all, you can never be too careful. Kemahoning Paranormal Group is a small YouTube channel that specializes in showcasing viewer-submitted videos of creepy findings and paranormal sightings to share with their subscribers. While a lot of their uploads are definitely quite
This looks like a fucking dick. Are you kidding me?
freaky, one of the most unsettling has to be one that they shared to their channel in May of 2020.
I thought that said the letter
They
man.
stated that on May 7th of 2020, a man was returning home from a
A
relaxing
cryptid that's just David
at the
Letterman.
Kemahoning Reservoir. But it turned out to be quite a different night than the one the man in the video was expecting. He ended up encountering something very unusual that started to approach him from the forest while on his drive. Thanks to his dash cam in his vehicle, he was able to record the incident, which he then submitted to the channel.
Well, thank
for
God.
review. This is what he ended up capturing on camera.
Ooh, that's definitely intentional.
By
Man.
slowing down the footage significantly, it becomes clear that this is not just some random stranger wandering around late at night.
Like they were
It's
waiting
something
there.
much more odd and creepy. The figure certainly looks to be the same height as a human, but its appearance definitely does not match one. The man in the vehicle that ended up filming the incident reported seeing a red light along the road, followed by a dark skeletal figure that was carrying it. Because of the
dark
unique and
skeletal
specific appearance
figure.
of the figure, both the man and the Kemahoning
Yeah, if you're
Paranormal
dead,
Group
it's your
suspect
choice
that this may be none other
to finally
than
not
the
be
legendary
anatomically
lantern
correct.
of the Kemahoning Dam.
I would just want to be made out of
By all
Legos.
accounts, it
One leg
definitely seems
Legos,
like it
one
could be
leg
the elusive
bologna.
Lantern Man himself. But what do you think? Is this legitimate footage of the Lantern Man caught on camera? Is it really just a human dressed in an elaborate Halloween costume? Let me know what you think in the comments. A Dutch YouTuber named Sasha Esser frequently uploads videos to his channel that focus on him
Russian?
exploring
Oh, no.
various abandoned and allegedly haunted places, each of which delves deep into the area and showcases all it has to offer. In this particular video uploaded to his channel in March of 2021, Sasha is outside late at night exploring an abandoned graveyard at Sunhoven. He says that while exploring that
Abandoned
night,
graveyard.
things were going perfectly fine, but toward the end of the night, something happened that truly terrified him. Let's have a look and see.
Is er misschien iemand van jullie die dat kan uitleggen aan mij? Zou heel fijn zijn, dank u. Mado!
What?
Er is iemand. Ik weet niet wie, maar er is iemand, ja. Fuck yeah.
If you look carefully, you can make out what appears to be a strange, ghostly figure standing in the middle of the cemetery, seemingly as still as a statue. Upon seeing this, Sasha lets out a startled scream before trying to walk away from the area in a calm and relaxed manner. Gratefully, Sasha was able to make it out of the cemetery unscathed that night, possibly due to how well he handled the whole situation. In the description of the upload, he says that to this day he has no idea how to properly explain what he ended up capturing on camera that night, and insists that the footage is 100% real and completely unaltered. So what do you think? Is this legitimate footage of a ghost captured in a cemetery late at night, or is this just one big hoax? Let me know in the comments.
I don't know. Could be a real ghost. First time ever.
And that was 5 scary videos that will horrify you. I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then subscribe for more scary content. My name is Sir Spooks, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Sir Spooks. Pretty scary. Watch a few more. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba-ba-bum. Ba-da-ba-ba-bum. Ba-da-da-da-da. I'm gonna look through this video real quick. This is not spooky, but I'm interested in this Incal movie that is being made now.
Hi guys, it's me Quinn, and it's all an Inkle movie. Now, I've known Taika mostly for his comedy, but I do know that he is a competent writer and a passionate creative.
I've never heard of this before.
Inkle is Jodorowsky's
You guys know what the Inkle is?
masterpiece. It's been ripped off a bunch of times by a bunch of different movies, including but not limited to Star Wars and The Fifth Element. Jodorowsky was actually inspired to write the Inkle many years after his would-be Dune movie kind of unraveled. He took all of the ideas that he had for that movie and kind of mixed them around and put them into the Inkle. Now, there are 3 Inkle books before the Inkle. The Inkle.
The Inkle.
The final Inkle.
Yeah, that is a
The Inkle was the first in the series to be
spoof.
published, and the art is done by Mobius, one of the greatest comic book artists of all time.
Huh.
The other 2 books were published after Mobius's death.
I
so the
literally
art
have never
is
heard of this.
different, still good, but different. The Inkle is a space opera like you've never seen one before. It is possibly the weirdest, most unique sci-fi universe that I've ever encountered. The book revolves around everyone's pursuit of the Inkle, the most valuable object in the entire
What is the
universe.
Inkle?
The object elevates whoever bears it to the highest form of themselves,
Huh.
as well as doing all sorts of other weird and trippy things. Though I love the Inkle, and
Yeah,
it's one of
that's-
my favorite graphic
that's why we're
novels
watching it.
ever at this point, I've even reviewed it here on this channel, I didn't necessarily expect this to be the next thing to be getting adapted. Now, since the success of Dune, we've heard about the adaptation of Hyperion.
Isn't Jermaine Clement gonna be the main guy? So it's gonna be like a funny, like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy kind of thing, right? Like, what's the tone?
Which is also Dune inspired, but Hyperion to me is something that lends itself to adaptation a lot easier than the Inkle. The Inkle is a weird story, and it's definitely not for everyone, so it'll be interesting to see how this unfolds from here. Now, Jodorowsky, of course, does have his other big graphic novel, The Metabarons, which is actually a lot more Dune-inspired than the Inkle. In fact, I would say this is where he put the majority of his Dune ideas. The Metabarons and the Inkle actually takes place in the same universe, but The Metabarons is focused specifically on the character the Meta Baron and, you know, where he came from and like the history of his lineage. I'm interested to see who will play the main character, John the Fool. And yes, his name is intentional.
John the Fool.
This character is archetypically the Fool. So he's walking through the universe kind of with his eyes closed. He's kind of wondering, and he's just kind of receiving things, and things are happening to him. The character, to me, not just because of the way he's drawn, although that had a lot to do with it, but also the way he's portrayed, reminds me so much of the character Philip J. Fry from Futurama, who is kind of also the fool character. He's kind of the most important man in the universe at the same time, but he's also kind of a fool. So I wouldn't be surprised if that character from Futurama is actually based on John the Fool from the Inkle a little bit. I absolutely wish Taika Waititi the best on this project. From what I hear, Jodorowsky is also closely involved with the production. If I'm being honest, I have no idea how it's gonna go, because I don't know if you can fit the entire Inkle story into a single movie, perhaps, but you would have to cut a bunch. And also what I would wonder would be, what is the budget on this? Because the Inkle is a huge story. It's got scope like Dune and Star Wars.
Yeah, that makes me want to check it out now.
It would be a pretty big budget thing to portray the Inkle accurately. And I just hope that they can pull it off.
Might grab that.
Like I said, it's interesting that Taika is attached to this because I'm more familiar with his comedy work, but the Inkle itself does have that kind of underlying layer of comedy, I think, as well.
That Taika is becoming like the biggest
that expresses itself in his movie.
Director and producer, really.
Said,
it's coming, shaping up like that.
That so much cool and interesting science fiction is being adapted right now. The Foundation show is happening on Apple TV, and though it's not really been my cup of tea, I haven't seen the last few episodes. I kind of fell off. I'm still happy that that has a place, and of course, I'm really happy about Dune and the Hyperion movie or TV show that's getting made. If you want to learn more about interesting science fiction lore, check out my channel for more videos. All of my different series are organized neatly into playlist.
Yeah, that's why I'm wondering if it's like a Hitchhiker's Guide or what. Like, what is it really? I really like this guy's channel. He's got a great channel for just like analysis of different sci-fi stuff. Big Dune guy. Everything really. A link to that video. I would recommend that channel, Quinn's Ideas. Like the kind of channel you could watch all day if you're into Dune or whatever. Anything like that. I just saw that in my Rex. I wanted to see what it was real quick. Not really what I normally watch. Not normally. I think we'll watch one more thing and then we'll wrap it up. Yeah, I mean, it's the same guy who did Holy Mountain and stuff, right? I want to watch. There's a barely... Is it not like something that's like in print right now? I'm just looking for another video. Yeah, I would think. Man. Really good video is that? I had a new channel I wanted to... Oh, what the hell? I did something with a playlist. Where the fuck is it? There it is. I think we already watched all these. Damn it. We already watched them all. All right, here we go.
This is a story when I was just 6 years old that I never, ever forget. When I was a little boy, I lived in a big house that had a little chicken coop. Behind my house,
A chicken
you could spot
coop.
a soccer field, even from far away because it's uphill. One day, two of my cousins, sister, and I decided to go uphill and play on that soccer field. We were going up innocently without knowing what was going to happen to us. As we arrived on top, we were surprised because there were many people around there. And it was just like this festival kind of situation. It was
Festival
very
kind of
crowded and
situation.
loud, but there was enough space to walk
All the
comfortably.
commotion.
The four of us got a little bit sad. We couldn't play soccer. There was nothing else to do. So we decided just to take a walk and followed the pathway that headed on top. As we went further up, a dead end was what was waiting for us. We then decided to go back because there was nowhere to go. But as soon as we turned
There was
around
nowhere to
and stepped
go.
down, we noticed that the crowded loud sound, the people at the ground, were gone. Completely. I got scared and shocked. The people vanished in an instant. Not only me, my cousins and my sister were as shocked and scared as me. We just started to scream and ran away quickly. I started late on running away, but I soon caught up with them, passing one of my cousins.
Run!
But as I was running away, I could feel someone grab one of my legs all of a sudden. It made me fall down hard instantly. My face hit on the ground and my nose was bleeding. I cried so much that time, but my cousins and my sister helped me get up and we ran as fast as we could. When we got home, we got yelled at by my mom. And she asked my sister how come I got injured the way I did and sprained my ankle badly. It was red and swollen. My face got a bit of scratches, and my lips and nose were all bleeding. Later, after that day, my sister told the whole story about that mysterious vanishing to my mother. And then she changed her face, looking a little bit uncomfortable. That field up the hill is a graveyard. And we were all shocked by knowing the truth. So the people we saw up there were dead people. But still, thinking about it again, how can you explain my accident?
No.
I thought it was one of my cousins who caught my ankle, but you know, running away and trying to grab someone's ankle is impossible. Maybe it was a warning for me not to go to that field ever again. In any case, I still remember that event so clearly that it gives me chills.
Chills. Like the channel. Just like it. All right, one more thing. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum, bum. I guess we could watch this Alex. We watched all this other Alex Bale SpongeBob shit. Let's watch the one that we were on last time. All right, SpongeBob video. Oh, he's got a short too. Unrelated to SpongeBob. Let's watch this.
guess I could go for a late night snack. That was probably nothing.
What's this? Damn.
What the hell was that? I have to
Marmalade.
hide. Wait. What if it hears me? Is it even still there?
I had to ruin it, I'm sorry.
Maybe I was just freaking myself out. It was probably all in my head. I guess I'm still hungry.
How is she talking to me psychically?
Ignore it. It's all inside my head.
Clairvoyance.
There's nothing behind me. I'm just overreacting. There's no one else here. I'm perfectly safe.
What? That was a weird face. Why do they look like that?
So, the continuity with King Neptune is a bit of a mess. There are two different King
The same
Neptunes.
guy made
There's
this
King
video.
Poseidon,
This is the next
three
video he
different
put
royal
out.
palaces. Two of them are called the City of Atlantis, but there's also a third unrelated City of Atlantis. It's confusing to say the least. But there is actually a way to explain how all of this is intentional and connects together. This is a story of power, deception, and betrayal. This is the Neptune theory.
The Neptune theory.
That was probably nothing.
That's fucked up.
The pacing is slow. It fundamentally fails as a film. Alex, go back to making SpongeBob theory videos. No one wants to see your awful horror films. I've been your host, the one and only cynical critic.
I mean, he's feeding into it. All part of the plan.
And we're back! What's up? I'm your host Alex, the SpongeBob guy, back with another SpongeBob conspiracy. I've said before, but the overwhelming support for these videos is insane. So, I'd be stupid not to make more. I mean, everyone loves them, right?
Hello, fellow truth seekers. It's Conspiracy Carl here. Welcome back to The Awakening. I have been awakened myself to the immense lies of this person right here. This liar, Alex Bale.
Well, almost everyone. So I showed a bit of this conspiracy guy's reaction in my last video, and apparently he didn't like that, so now he's claiming that I'm part of some giant Illuminati conspiracy.
Somebody looks like they're a puppet for the Illuminati. Yes, you, sir, have been inserting secret messages into your videos. Evil. Evil lurks there, people.
It's honestly really funny. You should check him out. Anyways, let's get into the theory.
I can't tell how many levels of irony we're on.
Hey, Alex, how do I make a cool YouTube film video like you? Well, it's easy. You just gotta learn to edit, record dialogue, write a script.
It was a ad for what do you call it?
King Neptune
Smart
was the ruler of the seven
website
seas
people.
and the Roman god of the ocean. If you watch my evolution theory, you know there's also a good chance he's the reason why fish in Bikini Bottom are so evolved and able to talk. He lives in the city of Atlantis with his wife Queen Amphitrite and his son Triton. But in the first SpongeBob movie, he's replaced by a completely different King Neptune who has a completely different daughter.
He looks like Velma.
These guys don't look or sound
This is
at all
Velma
the same,
Mermaid.
so how can they both exist in this universe? Well, there's already an interesting theory out there.
It's kind of dangerous for
It's
people.
widely believed that
Probably.
the SpongeBob movie takes place in the future after the events of the show. So widely believed that I got hundreds of comments about it in my Mrs. Puff theory. Yep, I know, guys. I heard what you said. The creator of SpongeBob, Steven Hillenburg, said he wanted to end the series with the movie, and it being canonically at the end of the SpongeBob timeline would explain why we.
I've never seen any of this, by the way. It's just like completely Greek to me, but whatever.
And some people believe that the reason why
The colors are
Neptune
cool.
is so different is because he's actually Neptune's son, Triton, all grown up. And that's a pretty cool theory, but I don't buy it. Other than Triton looking nothing like movie Neptune, I've never actually believed that the SpongeBob movie takes place in the future. Despite there being many people who commented about it on my Mrs. Puff theory as if it was a proven
There's a
fact,
SpongeBob
there's never actually
timeline?
been
What the
any
fuck?
official confirmation of it. Steven Hillenburg only said that he wanted to stop making SpongeBob after the movie. He never said anything about where the movie actually takes place in the timeline of the show. And we do actually briefly see Neptune's daughter Mindy show up later in the show in SpongeBob's Big Birthday Blowout. There is no way she'd be there unless the show took place after the events of the movie. I think what's actually going on here with Neptune is something much more interesting, and it ties directly in with the television theory. If you haven't seen that video, it basically proves that the entire show, SpongeBob SquarePants, is actually a nature documentary being filmed by scuba divers, and many of the elements we see throughout the series are secretly set up by the showrunners to make sure that the show is more entertaining and profitable. And this applies to the SpongeBob movie as well. There's promotional art and even a commercial that acknowledges the fact that it's just a movie being filmed.
Hello? SpongeBob, what kind of jellyfish is that?
Hey guys, it's Carlos from the Zone. Can you tell us about your latest adventure?
Well, this one adventure we had was a real Lulu.
You mean when we went after Neptune's crown? It seemed bigger than our usual adventures.
Yes, and with fewer interruptions.
Well, thanks guys. We'll see you in the movie.
Movie? What's that?
I know.
I think the real reason why Neptune looks so different in the movie is because the filmmakers couldn't get the real King Neptune, the literal god of the sea, to show up for a movie. So they hired an actor to pretend to be the king. And there is actually a ton of evidence in the show to support this. King Neptune is supposed to live in the great city of Atlantis, but in the movie he just lives in some random sandcastle, almost like they just built a discount version for the movie. But the real evidence comes from season 10, episode 18, Lost and Found, where SpongeBob goes beneath the Krusty Krab to look for something in the Lost and Found. As he searches through the surprisingly massive collection of items, on one of the shelves we see something mind-blowing. The crown worn by King Neptune in the SpongeBob movie. The entire plot of the movie hinges on the fact that Neptune
I just
thinks
realized I had
Mr.
myself
Krabs
muted
stole
when I
his
was
crown.
talking.
Why
Whoops.
would Mr. Krabs have this now?
What's the last thing I
Because
said?
this isn't just the Krusty Krabs Lost and Found. It's also where they store the props used by the SpongeBob SquarePants filmmakers to create the SpongeBob movie. If you remember from my television theory, Mr. Krabs is secretly working for the showrunners to spy on all the main characters. And his secret surveillance room was hidden beneath the Krusty Krab, just like this Lost and Found. So it makes perfect sense for the showrunners to hide their props down here. And if you still don't believe me, we also see SpongeBob's guitar, the Goofy Goober peanut hats, and the magical bag.
So it's like storage for
items from the movie
SpongeBob.
that would make no sense being down here unless this was
Yeah,
the
you didn't miss
showrunners'
anything
prop
crazy.
storage. And the movie King Neptune. One Neptune down. Now
Oops.
for the real mystery, King Poseidon. In the third SpongeBob movie, Sponge on the Run, the King of the Sea is yet again replaced by a new character, King Poseidon, the Greek god of the ocean. He actually does live in the city of Atlantis, except instead of the ancient royal architecture, it's a giant casino designed to make money. It'd be easy to say that these are just two separate kings that rule different areas of the sea, but they both claim to be the ruler of the seven seas. So how can two different characters both be the king of the same seven seas? The answer to that question actually has to do with a place
There's 3 movies?
Throughout the third SpongeBob movie, we keep cutting back to flashbacks of a younger SpongeBob and all the other characters when they all went to summer camp together. This was all to set up a spin-off show called Camp Coral that followed these younger characters. Now at first, I just wrote the show off as SpongeBob following the trend of making all their characters younger to appeal to a younger demographic. It's been done before and it's never very good. They also completely contradict the continuity of the main show by having characters like Sandy and SpongeBob meet as kids when we know they actually met as adults in the main show. Look, I am having a hard enough time figuring out this show's continuity on its own. I do not need another show full of contradictions to make it even harder. But the creators
The younger years? The
very
fuck?
clever to make the continuity work. The 7th episode of Camp Coral ends with one of the biggest plot twists I've ever seen from the show. So in this episode, SpongeBob actually discovers the Krabby Patty secret formula way before it was supposed to be created by Mr. Krabs. But at the end of the episode, it gets accidentally destroyed by Sandy, and then we get this mind-blowing scene.
This is Little Cheeks calling Big Cheeks. Come in, Big Cheeks. Over. Affirmative, Little Cheeks. This is Big Cheeks receiving you from the future. How are things going in the past? Your plan worked perfectly. The formula burned up before Mr. Plankton could nab it. Now it can be safely rediscovered in the future. I knew sending you to Camp Coral was the right thing to do. Over and out. Bye, future me. Ha. Mission accomplished, timeline preserved. Now everything can continue just the way it's always been.
So Sandy used time travel to send her past self to Camp Coral so that she could make sure the Krabby Patty formula didn't get discovered before it was supposed to. They actually figured out a way to make this messed up continuity make sense. Don't you dare tell me this show doesn't care about its continuity. Can I also just say that this scene lines up perfectly with my television theory? A major part of that theory is that Sandy is actually a spy working for the showrunners and is secretly making sure everything stays on track. And then what do we see a month after I post my theory? Sandy secretly manipulating everyone to keep the show on track. Just gonna give myself a little pat on the back there. But enough gloating. What does any of this have to do with King Poseidon? Well, this proves that Camp Coral and the movie that sets it up are in an alternate timeline. The events that have taken place in the show are not the same events in this movie. The continuity errors like Sandy and SpongeBob meeting, or Poseidon being the king of the sea instead of Neptune, can be explained by this shift in the timeline. So there you go. King Poseidon and King Neptune are from completely separate timelines. That's why we never see any reference to King Poseidon in the show. And that is the Neptune theory. Huh, I mean that wasn't so hard. I guess I'm done here.
Neptune stirred up quite a gale tonight.
Wow.
He must be mad
Insane.
about something.
That's silly. Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea. Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea.
Fish boobs.
Why can't anything ever be easy? This is the clip that really made me decide to make this theory. The beginning of Season 5, Episode 19, Spongehenge, shows two fish arguing over whether Neptune or Poseidon is the real ruler of the sea. It's like the creators are directly telling
How's it
us
like
that
windy,
both of
though?
these characters somehow exist in the same timeline, and it's our job to figure out how the puzzle pieces fit together. So, let's take a look. Despite both of these characters having similar appearances and personalities, there is one very important difference between them.
This guy looks like he's from Pee-wee's Playhouse.
We've seen many times that King Neptune has magical abilities that he can use at any time, even without his trident. But in the entire third SpongeBob movie, we never see Poseidon use any powers or magical abilities.
Yeah, I don't like
except for
that
lighting
guy.
up his trident, but all he has to do for that is just flip a switch. And we know from the episode Trident Trouble that you don't even need to be a god to use the trident. And at the end of the third movie, we find out Poseidon is actually in terrible shape. If you remember at the end of the episode Neptune's Spatula, Neptune briefly turned SpongeBob into a god. And we can see that having god powers gives you a perfect body. So why is Poseidon in such terrible shape? Because he doesn't actually have powers. Only Neptune does. Even Neptune's wife, Queen Amphitrite, has to use technology to zap someone, unlike Neptune, who only has to use his finger in the exact same episode. He is clearly the only one with powers, but why? To answer this question, we first have to understand the origins of King Neptune. Now, throughout the show, there is very little information on Neptune's past. I read the Wikipedia, I looked through the comic books, the video games, but I just couldn't find anything that would help me. But then I remembered there are SpongeBob shorts, which are like mini episodes that only air once, usually to promote something. So I started looking to see if there were any that could help us, and lo and behold, there is a SpongeBob short called The Story of King Neptune. Huh. Yeah, I guess that could be helpful. This short is about SpongeBob telling Patrick the origins of King Neptune, but it's not entirely clear whether it's true.
The story of King Neptune. When King Neptune was a little Neptune, his mother set him adrift in a river. As he floated along, a radioactive meteor fell to Earth. An alien appeared and anointed the infant with super Neptune fluid.
Is that really the origin of King Neptune?
Sure.
So King Neptune was abandoned as a baby and then given his powers by aliens. But SpongeBob is holding an upside-down comic book, so it feels a lot like something he just made up. And SpongeBob is not the most reliable narrator. Unless there's something in the story that we can definitively prove, I don't think we can use it for a theory.
Wait, so he has no legs?
Do you really expect me to believe that Neptune got his powers from aliens? I mean, we've never even seen aliens in the show before. Except we have. And they just
Oh
so
my
happen
God.
to also live in a city called Atlantis.
Why are they hot
Season
dogs?
5, Episode 12, Atlantis SquarePantis, we see another completely different Atlantis, the lost city of Atlantis, a city that's home to a race of aliens. The Atlantean aliens traveled billions of light years to come to this planet and build their city.
For reasons unknown, this great city disappeared one day, but no ruins were ever found. All the inventions you take for granted were given to us by the Atlanteans.
They were a peaceful race of aliens who shared their technology, but then mysteriously disappeared for some reason. And take a guess what
Yeah,
we
the Blue
find
Meanies
when
lived
we look
underwater
inside
too,
that
so I
city.
guess that's
A
kind of the
massive
reference.
Sculpture of King Neptune. That story about aliens giving Neptune his powers doesn't
think at
sound
least.
so far-fetched now, does
They
it?
took over
That's not all we
Pepperland or
find.
whatever.
Neptune's Ascension, the only surviving painting from the great lost city of Atlantis.
A painting created by the Atlanteans called Neptune's Ascension, aka Neptune ascending to his god status by being given powers by the Atlantean aliens. The story is definitely referencing
I love this
There are too many
song.
connections for this to be a coincidence. So even though it's being told by SpongeBob and details like the aliens' appearance are wrong, the story itself is probably based on truth. And there's also a lot of evidence to support the idea that Neptune was abandoned as a baby. In Clash of Triton, Neptune is watching a soap opera in his bedroom and gets upset when his wife turns it off.
Oh, Neptune, surely this isn't the behavior befitting a king, doing nothing but watching daytime television.
Wait! Rochelle was just about to meet her biological parents.
In the soap opera, Rochelle was just about to meet her biological parents. Maybe the real reason why Neptune's so invested in the soap opera is because he's never met his biological parents either.
Oh
There's
my
even
God.
tissues on the table next to him as if he's been crying. And the idea that Neptune was abandoned as a baby works perfectly with the mythology in the show. Neptune is the Roman god of the sea, but he is the only reference to Roman mythology in the show. Everything else we see is from Greek mythology. In the episode Trident Trouble, we see a Greek chorus.
Behold,
A Greek chorus.
we narrate this epic tale.
Oh, okay.
Neptune once mentioned Zeus, the Greek god of thunder.
So I say, look, Zeus, either you come up with more money, or Neptune walks.
He also mentions Apollo, the Greek god of the sun.
Now behold,
Wouldn't it be Jupiter to Neptune though? Not Zeus.
a prize worthy of Apollo.
Even in the city of Atlantis where Neptune lives, there's a building named the Poseidon, clearly named after Poseidon. So Neptune is clearly the outsider here, which is why he was abandoned as a baby. But if the sea is actually ruled by Greek mythology,
Oh,
then
okay.
Poseidon should
I
be
get
the
it.
true heir to the throne. Why is Neptune the king in the show? Because after Neptune was given his god powers by aliens, he returned to Atlantis and stole the throne from Poseidon. This would explain why there's so much confusion over who the real king is.
Neptune stirred up quite a gale tonight.
Everyone knows Poseidon is ruler of the undersea.
Legally, Poseidon should be the king, but Neptune took it by force. And that's not all he took from Poseidon. Neptune's wife, Queen Amphitrite, is the goddess of the sea. The Greek goddess of the sea, aka the wife of Poseidon. God damn, Neptune stole his wife and his throne. That is cold. And eventually, everyone did recognize Neptune as the rightful king. The pink fish who seemed adamant about Poseidon being the king completely changes her mind one season later in Clash of Triton.
King Neptune is coming here? Oh, I'm a huge fan of the royal family. I just love everything they do.
And that is the real story of King Neptune. The reason why Poseidon is king in the third movie is probably because in that timeline, Neptune was never given his god powers, so he never stole the throne from Poseidon. Although, seeing as how Poseidon turned Atlantis into a big casino cash grab city, maybe it's a good thing Neptune took over.
The lost city of Atlantic City.
And that is the Neptune theory. That was a tough one, but we are finally done. See you next time, guys. Wait,
Amazing.
why is Poseidon City called the Lost City of Atlantic City?
The lost city of Atlantic City.
I mean, the Atlantic City Park makes sense. That's a reference to the real-life Atlantic City, but why is it called the Lost City? There is nothing lost about the city. It seems like everyone's easily able to find it. The only other reference to a lost city of Atlantis is the one with the aliens that gave Neptune his powers. Nope. Nope, I don't care. I'm done with this theory. I don't need to answer every single little question. I am 100% done. Fine, okay? One more quick part just to tie up all the loose ends, and then I am done. Alright, here we go. So we know before the Atlantean aliens mysteriously disappeared, they shared their technology with the creatures of the sea. I think the self-proclaimed gods of the sea got their technology, like tridents and their other weapons, from the Atlantean aliens. In fact, the Atlantean guards even use golden tridents as their weapons. That's why the gods named their city Atlantis, to pay tribute to the Atlanteans that gave them their technology. But all of that changed when Poseidon became king of the sea. He betrayed the Atlanteans and used their own weapons against them to conquer their home and turn it into a casino city. That's why Poseidon City is called the Lost City, even though it's not lost. It's referencing the Atlantean city that was conquered by Poseidon. And the reason why the Atlanteans gave god powers to some random abandoned baby in the main timeline was so that Neptune could take the throne from Poseidon and prevent him from conquering the alien city. And the reason why the Atlantean city mysteriously disappeared was because they hid it so no one could ever try and conquer them again. And that is the Neptune theory. I am done. Okay, that's another one done. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Alex. We've got more on the way. I'll see you next time. Hey, listen, that theory was awesome. You know, I don't know how you keep coming up with these, but I mean, they're great. And listen, you were totally right, you know? The people want SpongeBob theories, so who am I to ignore them? So, thank you.
Jabbo.
Hello? Got the meat for you. Alright, listen. If we're gonna work on this, then we need to work on our communication skills, because this creepy quiet act, it's getting old.
Number 6.
Why are you on my ceiling?
My boy, you have done well. But if we are to continue our work, I will require something more.
Oh, that's why he's at the pet store. The next one. He wants like a fucking